new for 2025, our new
A new
section.
section.
I won't take, I would say Darren's brainchild.
Welcome to the Insiders Audio Notes. Here we are, the 7th of January. I'm not too sure if this is our first or second podcast for the year. Matt, can you verify that for me?
Second,
Second, there we go. Listeners, who else is more committed to filling your
ear holes.
oracles with with something that you don't flush down the toilet? How have you been, Matthew?
Very good.
Very
Um,
good. Getting any surfs in?
I've had two surfs so far this year, which is on track with the goal I kind of set at the start of last year. But there is a forecast that hits on Saturday that gives us pumping swell for about 8 days. So
Yeah. I've seen it. We're getting the same thing. I think there's a chance for Friday for us already, and then maybe here I'm looking at then Sunday, and then it even looks like 2 weeks. I've got to be very selective, listeners, and I guess nearly all of us know this. When you've got a bit of a niggling injury, but it's just not the time to completely abstain. So I'm just trying to be one of those, what do you even call it? Hit and run. Get in there, get me filled, get out, and then have a couple of days rest. I'm not surfing onshore waves of any sort this winter, I don't think.
yeah, fair. I um I think I've got 60 days until I go to Sumatra. So
Ooh la la. You got to
I
keep in the
am
water, mate. You got to be as fit as you can be.
for sure. That's what I was about to say is I am paddling out in almost anything right now, even just like my motivation is even just to be as paddle fit as I've ever been. Hitting the gym. Um, yeah, actually, fun enough, saw our old friend Lucas Skinner in the gym like 2 days ago.
LS.
Exclusive news. He's off to Oz, which no doubt we'll see some unreal clips of him, and then back to Hawaii again, which I was really hoping that he was going to say that. And yeah,
What's he got going on in Oz?
I think it's a I don't know, this is a guess, but it might be something like a Surf GB training camp thing because they did one last year. That's why I'm guessing. But yeah, I know that he's going to hook up with the Rip Curl crew, obviously sponsored by Rip Curl in Hawaii. Um, I've got a feeling that um, he might drop some absolute clips on us in the next month from Oz
Let's hope.
and
Let's
Hawaii.
hope. Let's
Um,
hope he's Europe's first world champ.
for sure. I mean, it would just be sick to see him just like for me with Lucas is his dream is world champ, and I think that would be so sick. And I just want to see him have a super healthy, super strong career, which like his path might change in a year or two. And if it does, sweet, fair play. Just I just know how much he absolutely loves it. And that's just what's cool about it. Um, but yeah, so basically paddling out in whatever I can. This swell on the way is looking pretty big, and
Don't get me wrong, listeners or Matt. I'd like to be paddling out absolutely every day, regardless of anything. As well. There's absolutely nothing better than surfing for training. But shoulder rotator cuff injuries don't go away overnight. You've got to be careful. I don't want it to be long term. It'll go. I kind of got worked heavily on it, so I've had worse than
yeah.
this.
So
Sorry, Matt.
this swell is kind of a big one, and I'm gonna, I'm going to Sumatra. I want to make the most of it, so I'm gonna be forcing myself out in this, obviously with caution and care, but
Yeah, we got feast or famine. I'm calling my surf back. I had one surf on New Year's Day, and then it kind of didn't. It's kind of been a bit haggis anyway. And
Mm.
if I'm surfing Friday where I want to surf, chances are it's going to be 8 foot
Yeah,
and fairly solid cross off.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So shit,
But
not the easiest thing to do when you're not in all the time, but it's all in the head.
that's it. And what else is in is new for 2025, our new
A new
section.
section.
I won't take I would say Darren's brainchild. And essentially for everyone to know, we're going to be bringing you I guess we'll be proposing a question every episode. When we have a guest on, we'll get them involved in the question. Uh, and we got to decide basically whether it's kooky or whether it's core. So I'll let you introduce the first one, Daz.
Okay, listeners, look, this came about, Matt, and I've been struggling with it, and I had a good laugh about it as well at the pub um, the night after. I surfed this spot last Thursday. It was about 6 foot, but there were 8 foot sets out the back, and I got one halfway. Sometimes you don't get one that connects, and where I got dropped off is where the second section it comes into a closeout. It's a big right hand reef, not a slab or anything, but pretty good kind of sunset reef. And as I was going down to surf, I saw this guy getting in the water with this girl who had like a 7.0 soft top. I'm positive it was 7.0. It wasn't an 8.0. It was kind of like zebra, not even zebra, like zebra crossing black stripes on the bottom.
Right, yeah.
And I was thinking, well, there's an interesting choice, but you get a fair few beginners out at the spot, and maybe it's you can't know. She looked semi-fit. Like, what are you going to say? You're not allowed to go out. Like, if it was bigger, probably, it wasn't my decision. The guy she was with looked like he knew what he was doing, and I think he did. And anyway, I got this wave halfway through, and as I was pulled off, I saw her not far from me, and she was turned around to paddle for this wave, which is the next one straight after mine. And where she was paddling to take off was straight into the closeout. And she was going to, everything's relative. I don't think she would have been killed, but she would have been pretty well annihilated and put in a bad spot. And that would have washed her in because it's not the best spots, that end section. And then it just pushes straight with a lot of power over the reef. And I screamed out, no! And she kind of looked at me and didn't go, and then saw what happened with the wave and said thank you to me. And I said, yeah, no problem. And I kind of felt even, I kind of said it automatically, but I do feel like there's sometimes when if I want to say something to someone, give them some advice or something, it just feels like you're being condescending or a prick. And in this case, could also come across as misogynic as well. So I was kind of,
Yeah.
I saw one of those videos a Raglan dude dropped the other year where they take the piss out of guys giving girls advice, but in this case, she was happy for it. And then later on, I came in and I saw her on the beach talking to her boyfriend, and she kind of looked a little bit flustered and excited at the same time. And then the next night at the pub, I said it to these mates of mine, older guys than me, full core surf lord legends, and one of them like just said, "Mate, you're a good man. There's no way I would have said it. I just would have let her eat shit." But what do you think, Matty? Core or kook?
I think it's pretty, I would say it's actually pretty core for a couple of reasons. Um, one reason I think it's quite core is because I think it's actually brave to do it now because like you say, especially to a female, because there's so much like noise about guys trying to mansplain things and which
Yep.
and so like there's been occasions not to the level that you've had, but like there's been occasions where I've seen people in the surf and like there was an occasion where there was a guy and a girl. Both of them had their leg rope attached, the leash string was so long, and I saw them setting up their board, and I wanted to say, "Oh, look, guys, like little bit of a tip, double up your leg rope, like because it could rip through," and I didn't, and I felt like I was a bit like probably wrong for not saying something, but then it's nothing like it's weird. So I think it's actually more core to say something because it's probably a braver decision because of like nowadays you could cop it back. She could be like, "Don't talk to me. I know what I'm
Oh
doing,"
yeah.
or blah blah blah. So I would say it's pretty core in that situation. I would say that there are situations where it's like, bro, like it depends what you say, I guess, as well. Like if you'd have said no, and then as she started paddling out, be like, "Ah, so you want to try and paddle here and pop up here and do this and that," I'd probably be like, "Oh, mate, you sound like a cock." But
Yeah, yeah, which is kind of what I thought at the time. I was thinking, like, I'm not giving you any more tips than that. What
do
about
you know
someone
what?
if they had their fins on the wrong way? Obviously, I saw that with Fipsy. That must have been 15 years ago. He nudged me. I think we were down there with kids and stuff going surfing. This dude walked past us and his fins reversed in
Yeah.
the, which you
Well,
were
I
able to do with the FCS one
well,
system.
it happened. Similar happened to me at the wave pool this year. So surfed in the pool with this guy. He surfed good, got out, and and I said to him, "Oh, like how did you get on with your board?" And he was like, "Yeah." He was like, "I've set it up as a quad because I wanted more speed, but it's just not giving me speed." And he had quad rears in the front and the big ones in the back. So he had his quad set up back to front.
Yeah, yeah.
And I said, look, because I hadn't seen it when we were surfing, but when we got out, I seen it, and I said, mate, your fins are been back to front, and he was like, oh no way and stuff, and then like they were FCS two, so he popped them in and switched them around, um, which is another reason why futures are better because you actually can't do that with futures fins because the box depth is different. So
We never said any. Oh, did Fipsy say something to him that day? Now I can't remember, but I'm starting to think in a situation like that, I reckon you're better off leaving him. Let him in that instance, I'd say let him be Kook because it wasn't overhead. I was thinking more for security on this day.
yeah,
I just
yeah,
saw
yeah,
this
you've definitely
thinking
done the
this.
right thing, and that's what I think. I was thinking, imagine if she thought instead of because you said no, imagine she heard go
Look, yeah, yeah, no, no,
and
no. It
just
was
paddled into this death like zone.
I think I did a few. I was like, no, 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 no. But like
Yeah,
I was watching it, I was thinking this, and then I was thinking if she goes, at least I'll
right.
anyway, so there you go. There's our new section. Kook or core. Is it it can be taken in a few ways. For example, this was about my advice, but we've got 50 different examples of that we're going to use this year. And if it catches, because I just think it's really relative, don't you think, Matt?
Yeah, for sure. And that's why I think I was about to say, if you don't agree with us, or if you've been in the same situation, or if someone's been if you're the person who's copped the advice, like comment or let us know, like drop us a DM and stuff.
Please don't hesitate to comment when Matt drops the Instagram post, and please follow us as well on the Insiders. There's probably a underscore is there between the that and the Insiders.
Yeah, and then another underscore and then podcast.
You'll
So it's
see us. It's kind of
pretty
a black
simple.
logo, back logo.
But
Hey, Dahui backdoor
yes,
shootout.
pretty sick.
Pretty sick. There haven't really been that many good waves yet.
No, but there's been some real near ones. Ivan Florence really nearly got a very, very, very good one. The I don't usually like him, but the Koa Rothman vlogs of it are very good.
Oh, I haven't seen them. Maybe I'll watch it.
It's pretty cool. Like you see like 5 minutes of like
You're fully behind the scenes. We talk
yeah,
about this each year, aren't you?
the surfers make the call and stuff, and it's like real behind the scenes. It's actually really cool. his ones are good. But yeah, the event's good. I wanted to say like the first day it kicked off, I switched it on and the longboarders were on, and Jesus, like fair play to all of them. Like fair play to anyone who's doing that at pipe on a longboard.
Man, there's some good longboarders in Hawaii, I'll tell you, because
Yeah,
it is a core longboards like country as well, because that like Kai Salas, world champion, like tons of them,
yeah,
Honolulu, Bloomfield or whatever, because they've got all those longboard spots down on the south side, and on top of that, like it is a birthplace of surfing, so that's
yeah.
where they would
Um,
only had longboards there for many, many years, and layers, obviously.
Carney Ellis Stewart was one of the ones, and he was sending it. And there's the other guy, Johnny the Ripper. I can't pronounce his actual last name because it's like Van something, and he's sick on a log as well. But yeah, like I was just like, that's gnarly. Like fair play to them. And then Clay Marzo got an absolute sick wave. Um, but yeah, I think I like the shootout. I think it's Team Japan. It's the best. Like that's the best heat to watch every year. They are so sendy. Like they will just go. Um,
They're kamikazes, aren't they? They're just
yeah.
hardcore.
This one guy just got he
Are
just
you
took off.
allowed to are you allowed to say kamikaze still?
I think so. Yeah,
I
yeah,
think in that sense it's fitting.
for sure. This guy took off and the lip just like it must have pushed him through his entire board and he just popped up like and I was just like, you hell man, you're so funny. Like I love
They've
Team.
got one more day to run, I think. It's 4 days of it.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
It is actually good where I was listening. The format works because the dudes aren't hassling each other because they're all on the same team. So it
Yeah.
actually is a cool sort of way to watch as opposed to people sitting around for 15 minutes at the start, not going stuff and things like that.
Yeah,
Hey,
definitely. And it's really cool as well. It's really
it's
cool
gonna
as well
be in
because
sorry.
going, yeah, in the snapped like just as an example, like what I think is really cool, and just to touch on your point, is there was a heat where the Koa Rothman heat, the team that he paddled out with,
Kawa
um,
Makuakai, Ivan, Nathan, and Josie Angel.
yeah, so Makuakai was on a much longer board and he was sitting so much deeper. And then like Ivan was on the inside of him. So because they weren't competing with each other, it was really cool because like he had set, right, I'm waiting for this wave. And Ivan was like, I'm on this board, I'm waiting for this wave. So you actually got more action because like when the big roll-ins came through, Makuakai was on them. And that was he was in early and that's what his board was for. And then like Ivan was just like a different tactic, but he was on the same team and it made sense. And I thought that was really cool because you just got to see more and more. You got to see a variety of surfing and more waves caught.
It'll be good to see if they can get the last day where it's really good. And what I
Yeah,
was about to say is it'll be interesting again because it's 3 weeks away, I think, that the actual Pipe
the Pipe Pro.
Masters WWL's Pipe Pro um, comes on after what seems like an absolute eternity.
Yeah,
And really, at first, it kind of feels a little bit, oh, I don't have a comp to watch. And in the long run, it's really not that drastic whatsoever because 9 times out of 10, we know over the last few years is that they end up being boring and we're not really into the commentary and they haven't been scoring. So
so
let's hope they're
you're-
kind of scoring and we get a few good matchups like John Gabe in finals and stuff like that.
I really hope so because I'll be completely honest. I saw a post about it the other day and it made me look, and I looked at just like who's on tour this year and like no disrespect enough, but like Philippe coming back and then
Is he coming back?
well, apparently so. And then like the people who have qualified, quite a lot of them are like we've discussed in the past, like older returning Brazilians who like David Silva and Alejo, and people like that. and it just really just didn't light a fire. I looked at the
Oh
women's
man,
side, and I
don't
was like,
worry.
I
They
can't wait.
qualified. They made it.
Yeah, I'm more excited to watch the women world tour at the moment than the men's actual
Well,
tour.
Aaron Brooks, world champ, rookie year, and
Huge tour.
hopefully Joel goes good. And I tell you, I'd really like to see Liam O'Brien, who hopefully we got on next week. I'd really like to see him go good. I just think, and there's always one of these guys. I just think he's one of the most underrated surfers on the planet because
Yeah,
he's got style, aggression, and charges.
yeah.
But we've had a few of these crew, huh? We've had Ryan Callahan, we've had Chloe Andina, who wasn't in retrospect underrated. He was potentially overrated, but I still thought he was an amazing surfer, and he was never able to win a comp or anything, huh?
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, yeah.
he's in my notes. You see, he's got his new brand that come out. It's got a really gack name,
Another one. It just doesn't
Streco, which is replaced his
replace
2%,
2%.
which they've cancelled. So they just transferred. It was a little bit when
Which is just
Bell
weird. And
did
it's just
that from
qualifying.
Euroglass.
It's
I
very
don't
weird.
think it's weird. I think the 2% thing just didn't have any. I was positive I wrote that, and I didn't. Streco, was it? The inside is following. Ah, Stego.
Yeah, Stecco, yeah.
ST. It sounds like an operating system
I think,
for an accountancy company, doesn't it?
well, I think it sounds like a nickname of a tradie on an Aussie building site. Oh,
Stego.
yeah, that's Stecco. He's just on Smoko, mate.
It's
Like,
no, it's a G, so it's not a CK. I thought it was a K, but it's a I've got written Stego.
yeah. But I don't know. It's a bit fishy.
Well,
But
he obviously got dropped by
O'Neill,
O'Neill. He's just been dropped by Red Bull. Well, yeah, what are you gonna say? There's no way in the world he's gonna requalify. Well, touch wood, you could be wrong. He had a better run than 99.99999% of surfers worldwide with sponsorship from when he was 15. So he's all good. So if he is doing what they love to keep writing about, putting back in, good. That'd be sick if
yeah.
he puts a bit of his own money in and gets a few of his other young kids there from San Clemente sponsored.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean,
They're not going to be sponsoring some kid from Fistral.
well, no, but Red Bull do. But yeah, the other thing I wanted to talk about is who I think has started this year. Who is my current surfer of 2025? Is our boy who's been on G-Man, Gerard McDade. Have you copped
Oh,
a couple of his clips?
yeah.
Jesus, like fully, like that could have been Nathan Florence video. Like, um, his old man makes an appearance, which I think is pretty cool, and Conor Maguire's
Where
in.
was that one? I didn't see that one, but I did see that he surfed with Connor. That we're not going to name spots. One of his home spots with no one out. It's just pumping.
It's in. It was on YouTube.
They
Um,
must have had a quiet. I mean, we're having a quiet sort of season here, so I think Europe's been a little bit quiet. I think that's going to probably come. It's probably going to blow up soon. Wouldn't you think? We're about to see in the next 2 weeks. I mean, everything seems is always in perspective because, like, if you had watched a couple of those France videos, you would have been going, "Wow, France, this has been blown." That's what this young guy named Noah told me from Australia. But that was 4 days, and it was pretty good. 4 days over a 200-meter stretch where there was 100 guys out. So that's a one guy every 2 meters,
yeah,
and I watched it for 45 minutes and only saw one guy come out of a barrel, and that's talking about 100 good surfers as well. So,
yeah,
you could say it's all time if you want, but you're not going to compare it to any good reef break in the world.
No, no. But the G-Man clips, like, I don't know, he's got a really watchable and likable thing going on there, and I hope he
He's
can.
Irish. They're just friendly and funny
Yeah,
and low key.
for sure. And he surfs so good, and Connor surfs good, and it's pretty cool, like seeing him buzz around and like they're on Connor's jet ski, like whipping each other in and sharing the camera, and it's just felt very organic. It felt very, very cool. Yeah, so far he's leading the 2025 Surfer of the Year. Wait, also,
Hey, I don't like uh, selling, spruiking other people's stuff, but you saw that, for example, Katie won Wave of the Year with that stub, and it was I sent it through to, or did he send it to me? Bradley sent it through to me. That's why I brought it up. Bradley sent me through the Instagram picture of her getting that barrel, and he said, "Where's that?" And I said, "Oh, that's Spot X," and he'd been near Spot X, and he was like, "That's mad," but he was talking more about the wave than her. Like what she did was mad.
yeah,
But the wave was mad as well, huh? Like those that the one that Solly gets and he walks up the beach and he's got his head in his hands. You just got to think like, well, it's the same with those dudes getting a similar sort of waves in Namibia, Skeleton Bay. Like you just got to retire.
yeah, just like I would just sit there and close my eyes and try and just imprint that vision into the back of my eyes like for as long as possible. Um, yeah,
Do you think her devil may care, cool, understated? Maybe it's a little bit too understated. Californian cool can handle a religious, zealous,
yeah,
no hold barred uh, Aaron Brooks coming at her.
yeah.
I
I
think
think
I think she can, but I think like obviously I'd rather Cloudbreak as a finals day than Tressel's times 1,000. But does it favour? Oh, you wouldn't say. Maybe on the women's side it might say favour a goofy footer. On the men's side, would you say it favoured a goofy footer? The best surfers there of all time have been natural footers.
yeah. I mean,
Kelly, Andy,
it
John
just
John.
depends, doesn't it? Because like this year wasn't really true cloud break, was it? I don't know Aaron won it, but it would be very different if cloud breaks what cloud break could and maybe should be.
If Crowbike's 8 to 10 foot, that's going to be a wonky doozy of a day.
Yeah.
If
Talking about,
Ethan squeaks through to the final five, has he got a chance against John John Gabriel?
I don't think
Even
so.
Felipe would be holding him as favourite.
I don't think so. But
Favourite to take out the
we,
fifth spot.
I know you love your WSL chat. I'm gonna flick back to something we've mentioned
Yeah, sorry about that, mate. I was thinking
That's so
more
good.
cloud break style. Sorry.
But I'm gonna flick back to something we've previously mentioned that could be really cool that I actually hope goes massive because I want it to run alongside the WSL and rival it. And so everyone should check it out. It's called Natural Selection Surf on Instagram. Natural Selection, you might have heard it, like they do snowboard events and ski events and stuff like that. Um, they're putting on a surf event. It's going to air on the 18th and 20th of February. I'm pretty sure that it's going to be pre-recorded and packaged up. But basically, it's a surf event in the Marshall Islands. The crew is absolutely perfection. Whoever's picked it has done a very, very good job. Um,
Got some names for us there, Matthew?
yes, I do. And the reason why I wanted to drop some names is because I heard a few people being like, "Who's got more barrels this year? Nathan Florence or Solly Bailey and blah blah blah." Check this out for a lineup: Mikey February, Coco Ho, Carly Vast, Mila Coco Brown, Noah Beshan, Eitan Osborne, Anne DeSantos, Victor Bernardo, Kira Pinkerton, Harry Bryant, Al Cleland Jr., and Solly Bailey.
So is it man against woman or is it ambidextrous?
They haven't said any of that yet. There's nothing out online about what the format's going to be, anything like that. I personally am guessing that it's going to be pre-packaged and pre-recorded because they're definitely saying it's dropping on the February the 18th and February the 20th, where so to be that definitive this far out, like obviously it has to be pre-recorded. Um, and so normally the natural selection is very kind of clear cut. It's just like who gets the best waves. Um, or who gets the best like on the snowboarding and stuff. It's different.
Okay, so this is an existing thing that comes from snowboarding.
Yeah. So if
Never
you look
been
it
in
up, you
surfing
might
though,
have
so
heard
what?
it.
Didn't
It's super.
understand.
Yeah, it's super super raw. When they do it on when they do it with snowboarding, like they'll go to like a really really remote location, and it won't they won't have like marked runs. They'll just have like they'll basically just say just get down the mountain kind of thing. Like I've watched it a few times and it's pretty heavy. It's like really cool to watch. Like, and I've never been snowboarding, but I watched a few of it, and it's like pretty like gripping. Um, and I think with what they've done with that, if they could bring that to a surf comp from a completely different angle, I really think it could be very, very good.
Well, I'm just looking forward to it because anything Marshall Islands, I've seen footage of it. That's from John was there recently with Nathan Florence, and I think that's where um, Martin Daly, ex-Indies trader, boat captain, owns an island. And it's over the other side of where Pass is, which is the Caroline Islands. I couldn't pinpoint it for you, but I will when I have a look later on Google Maps, and that's insane. And we're down to 7.5 minutes, Matt. But here's another one for you, and we can get back to that if you want. I saw before this clip, and I'd seen it last week of Ned Hart at Shipsterns. Have you seen that wave?
No,
Okay, so I saw it at one stage. I can't remember where I saw it, and I saw someone say, "That's the most gnarliest wave ever ridden." And I thought that's a pretty big call. I mean, like that wave of Nathan Florence at the Brighton Island, that was pretty insane. But watch this wave of this Ned Hart. I think he was under 18. It's like, I don't know, if you did like a cartoon clip, you could do that. Like the barrel at the end isn't even the highlight of the wave. It's like it's incredible. I'm giggling. It's incredible. It's incredible. If you can watch it on your computer, I'd like to watch it on the big screen. I can't imagine what it was like watching live, or for him who actually wrote it.
that's crazy. I'll have to try and find it. I haven't seen it.
Florence, that's Florence. We just call him Florence. They sponsored him
Yeah,
because they love the core.
that's it.
I think he's pretty core, Ned Hart. I think actually Christian's even done him a couple of boards, mate.
Really,
Maybe.
no doubt. I mean, probably. He yeah, I saw that he had some Florence stuff actually, which is yeah, they don't just chuck anyone some stickers.
Which
So.
which brings us to the final segment of the show. And what's the best stuff you've been watching lately?
Well, Gerard, G-Man's dropped some real good stuff. Um, and I mean, I guess I pretty much watched lately. I've been watching the Hui stuff, so live and the Koa Rothman thing. So that
It's
between that G-Man and that's been what
We're
I've been.
pretty lucky as surfing consumers. Like for a while there, people were slagging off the YouTubers and stuff, but how else, what are we supposed to do? The brands aren't backing any real video output or competitive surfing or free surfing. So, I mean, we've got to watch these while these other guys, rightly so, want to collect quality image and get a quality production before they put out edited. But in the meantime, there's nothing like a bit of hard and fast, recent stuff. What's the word I'm looking for? Like current stuff that's
Fresh.
happened yesterday, fresh, live. Also, shout out to Lenny from Patagonia, who's hooking me up a 4.54 Ulix hoodie. Now I raved about the other hoodie he had, and I told him, let's see how the thicker one goes. There's always a question mark for me with the integrated hood. I mean, you guys got no choice, huh?
They're way
But
better. Way
they
better.
are, they are, they are, because you don't get water flush as long as the mouthpiece of your hood's good, correct? Like I've got a
Yeah,
quickie
kind of.
one.
Yeah.
Sorry, quickie, but I had one. It's too tight. You can't. Like if you've got it over your lip, you know,
Yeah.
and then if you put it on your chin, every duck dive I did, you get water in it. And they're
It'll be very interesting because I'm
if they're too
currently
stiff around the neck as well, you can't look left or right.
be very interesting because I'm currently, and more will come on this in the next, in the, I guess, the next couple of months. Currently have a wetsuit in production with Ulux that
Ooh la la.
me and uh my like a wetsuit guru that I work with, Will, kind of specking out and stuff. And we've got literally got samples behind me here.
Hey, it's the future. Gabe, obviously from Patagonia, Gabe Davies, Northeast Coast legend. He said to me a couple of times that in the next 10 years, we'll see, in the next 10 years, everything will switch to Ulix, which we hope that it switches to natural rubber, where we gotta hope across the board. If we get car tires to be natural as well, there's a lot of work to be done. But if I can do a tiny bit, I'm gonna.
Well, that was the point I'm getting to. I was getting to. Like we're so what I've been doing is I've got these samples and then I've got suits that are on the market that are normal, and as well as being better for the planet, I'm noticing there's improvements to the suit. Like it's got more stretch and it feels a bit softer and it doesn't. I've noticed now like some smell of petrol, um, which is a bit weird. But
Hey, a good friend of mine's told me that I've got to be careful peeing in my Ulex wetsuit. Are you aware of that?
not. But I
He
have.
reckons he reckons it'll melt it. But I mean, I rinse my wetties religiously inside and out after every surf
I don't
anyway.
think. I don't think this is. We've got a minute left. This is something to end on. I don't think anyone should pee in their wetsuit if they've got a good level wetsuit. Because if your wetsuit's like a good wetsuit, you pee in it, you're basically trapping it inside it. It's not cool. It's pretty
Matt,
gross.
look, it's impossible for some of us that have just got sensitive bladders, mate. So let's leave us alone, huh? For those who need to pee, pee. If you can get away with not peeing, I say don't pee. Hold it in.
Yeah,
Get
I'm not sure.
cystitis, do whatever you want. But
That's where we'll
those
end.
of us that have to pee, if I'm walking up the beach and I've got to go after the session, I'll hold back and do my best to get the arms out, yank around, and. But if
Yeah,
you're out the back and you've got a desperate one coming, you're not going to give yourself stomach cramps. So, well, time will tell if the pea melts. Thanks
time
for
will.
having me, Matthew.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.